Good morning, everyone. The framers were clear. The framers were clear. There would be no monarchs, no tyrants who would govern this nation, no kings in America. They set out to establish three co-equal branches of government. Article 1 for the United States Congress, Article 2 for the presidency, and Article 3 for the judiciary. Three co-equal branches of government. No kings in America. But they set up an extra guardrail for that day when a president would so trample on the Constitution, so trample on the rule of law, that president would need to be impeached and removed from public office. Section 4 of Article 2, the impeachment clause. We have reached that moment today. Donald Trump has committed multiple abuses of power since assuming the oath of office. And as Jessica said at impeachtrumpagain.org, we have been documenting in detail these abuses of power, 25 distinct grounds for impeaching and removing this lawless president. Disappearing people from the streets and sending them to foreign torture prisons. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Detaining and removing unlawfully U.S. residents without due process of law. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Creating treason and levying treason against the people of the United States. Sending the military into our nation's cities against its people. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Attacking the United States Congress, usurping its authority to appropriate money. Congress, under Article 1, has the power to appropriate funds. This president goes ahead and freezes trillions of dollars of duly appropriated funds enacted by the United States Congress. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Defying multiple court orders issued by federal courts all across the country. Attacking the United States judiciary. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Pardoning 1,500 plus insurrectionists for an insurrection that he incited on January 6, 2021 to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Engaging in rampant corruption in the White House, treating the Oval Office as a profit-making enterprise at the public expense, violating the domestic and foreign emoluments clauses of the United States Constitution. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Engaging in unlawful bombings of people in the Caribbean, in the Pacific, with no congressional authorization, extrajudicial killings, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Engaging in misusing the Justice Department, the FBI, to go after his perceived enemies, the sham indictment of James Comey, the sham indictment of Letitia James, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. The list goes on. The list goes on, and yet I know there are people who will say, now is not the time to talk about impeachment. To that claim. Number one, we either have a constitution or we don't. We either have an impeachment clause or we don't. If we're not going to invoke the impeachment power at this critical hour for our nation, then we might as well say we're giving up on the Constitution. We refuse to give up on the United States Constitution. Number two, when we do not name these actions for what they are, high crimes against the state, we normalize this conduct. We refuse to normalize these high crimes. And number three, members of Congress take the very same oath that Donald Trump took on January 20th, 2025, to protect and defend the United States Constitution. They have a duty, a sworn duty, to uphold their oath, to abide by that mandate and to invoke the impeachment power. Now, there is a member of Congress here today, Congressman Al Green of Houston, Texas. Congressman Green has abided by that oath. He has followed the mandate of that oath. And he has introduced articles of impeachment. And he has already forced one floor vote on the House of Representatives where 78 of his colleagues joined him. We appreciate and applaud Congressman Green's courage and leadership. And we need more members of Congress to stand with him. We need more members of Congress to introduce articles of impeachment. I had a member of Congress say to me recently, John, what do you want? You want on Tuesday articles of impeachment introduced and a vote, and you want on Wednesday other articles of impeachment introduced and a vote, and then you want on Thursday other articles of impeachment introduced and a vote? And I said, yes, that's what we want. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. We need to have this debate on a daily level. There are more than enough articles to go around to be introduced, and this debate should be happening on a daily level in the House of Representatives. So we have a message for Donald Trump today. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you. You are a lawless, wannabe dictator. You have committed high crimes against the state. We will hold you accountable. You must be impeached and removed from public office. Thank you.